Welcome to the entertainment segment of the TVC Breakfast Saturday. My name is Theophilus Selema. Of course, we will not fail to say Happy New Year. This is the first show in the year 2025. Of course, in a brand new studio.
Yes, we have moved to our promised land, our Canaan land. And I mean, if you have been to our TVC News studios, I'm sure you can testify that it is state of the art.
It is indeed state of the art, of course. And today, we have quite a lot for you. Of course, this year promises to even be more exciting, of course. And our new studio is quite interesting. We have a state-of-the-art facility. AI working round the clock and all of that. So we're giving you the best of the best. Yes. Today, we have two guests with us on the segment this morning. Let's start with the first person, who is Fidelis Duka. Fidelis Duka is a Nigerian filmmaker and film festival organizer. He has been involved in the film industry since 1993 and has been involved in projects like Paradise in America, London Blues, A Means to an End, Senseless, and so on and so forth. In 2003, Duka birthed the idea of the Abuja International Film Festival. In 2016, Duka won a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Best of Nollywood Award held in Aba. Now, he joins us today to discuss the film industry in 2024 and to make some predictions about the new year. Thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Thank you, Theophilus. Thank you, Banke.
Thank you.
Quite an impressive resume.
Yes. And I mean, when he said 1993, I was like, where was Theophilus?
Don't mind.
Well, I'm not a gent.
I'm very humble, and I think a very impressive studio. This is what the broadcast industry needs, and I think I must commend your proprietors.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
Thank you very much. Of course,
the ambience gives you an environment to even talk.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let's hit it quite quickly. The industry in 2024, what's your impression? Of course, started with the movie A Tribe Called Judah, raking in over ₦1 billion. I mean, that was the first in the industry. And so far, so good. How was the industry for you in 2024?
I think the entertainment industry, and of course Nollywood specifically, was very impressive. Impressive in the sense that you also gave birth to different ideas. Yes, towards the end of the year, there were so many stories about some streaming platforms leaving the sector and all that. But beyond that, like you said, it started very well, even ended very well, because the same lady who made the film Tribe of Judah also made
another one,
which also on the opening weekend has 45 million. That was another record. So for me, I think when I look at Nollywood, I think it's also an evolution process. If you look at from when the revolution of the new face of film in Nigeria started in 1992 with Living in Bondage, which changed the scope of film business. Of course, before then we had films, of course. That argument has been in place. But I will say that 2024 wasn't totally a bad year for us, in the sense that we saw different things, new phenomena emerge. Even the AI, of course, when you talk about the entertainment industry and of course film, we keep isolating Nollywood from the others ancillary ecosystem sectors like music. They also play a prominent role in our business. So it was a good year for all of us.
So I like the fact that you said that it wasn't totally a bad year. What obstacles and challenges do you think that the Nigerian film industry needs to work on this year to, let's say, to defeat?
You see, for me, every year comes with its own unique opportunities. It's just starting. Of course, it started with the last film by Funke that moved into the new year. We expect to see some changes in the sense that the industry must be more structured. One of the challenges we keep facing is the structure of the industry in the last 20 years or so, when we try to see how we can create this structure. We are so fragmented. I've always said that there's only one Nollywood. Whether you practice in the north or you practice in the east, the moment you cross the shores of Nigeria and travel out of the country, nobody refers to you as Kannywood or Yoruba Wood or Igbo Wood or whatever. It's one industry. So for me, I think we need to structure the industry in a way that the kind of fears and concerns that was raised when we heard that Netflix changed their business model, not that they left. Because of course, those issues are also basically beyond our own control too. Because one of the reasons why they left was the number of streaming subscribers on their platform. A nation of 250 million people, you have just 165,000 subscribers on the platform. Then when you look at a country like South Africa that has about 65 million people, They have about 2.1 million subscribers. So these are the challenges they also felt that we're investing so much, even though what they were investing to me was not enough. Okay. But they felt they were investing so much and they were not getting the returns. I said, okay, we will not go into the issue of commissioning projects. What we will do now, you make the films, we will acquire. So they're still here, but now you have to make the films with your own funding and then they acquire. Okay,
so let's talk about the issue of the number of screens in Nigeria. You said that we have less than 1,000 screens.
You're very nice. You've gone too far. We have 298.
But South Africa that you mentioned has far over, up to about
2,000.
2,000.
Yes. Even the UK with about almost less than 60 million population has about 4,500. India has about 42,000. I was in China in August. I recall that China today has about 77,000 screens.
77,000.
Wow. And they're adding more.
Oh, so this less than 1,000 screens. Like
less than
300 screens.
Ridiculous. And you can imagine the amount of money, the 1 point something, 1.8, almost 1.8 billion so far for Jennifer, the film, with just 298. You can imagine if we had 1,000. If we had 1,000, just 1,000, can you imagine the enormous revenue that we made?
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to ask you still about the screens, because now almost most people have a phone screen. So we saw something new in 2024. We saw the rise of YouTube movies. We saw that, because normally when you see a movie that was just premiered on YouTube, you feel maybe it was a low-budget film. Maybe nothing was really put into it. And then now, I mean, in December, you could see so many YouTube screens, and even the what do you call it, the A-list actors of YouTube. Nigeria.
I'll tell you why. It was a fear. After the, in quotes, supposed exit of those major streaming platforms, Netflix and Amazon, everybody went back to YouTube, and that's been the discussion on several Nollywood platforms that you find on your social media phones. People are now saying, okay, what will happen? What I see in 2025 is scale up. People will scale up the quality of the films you see on YouTube. The qualities will improve. There will be better production quality and value. And you also expect that in 2025, the kind of films you will see will be a bit different from what you've been seeing in the past. Budget might be reduced because there's a big challenge now, even with the actors. The demands are high. They have seen the streaming platform bringing thousands of dollars into the system, and they are used to those kind of budgets. So I think there will be a paradigm shift in the way film will be done in 2025. But beyond that, I also see development for the sector. It will also open the space for younger people to also have a platform to also of expression too. And then let me go back to the issue of the screens you mentioned. I think we also have a major challenge. So that's why I say structure. We try to transfer what happens in the first world countries. We must domesticate our own screening. I recall when we were growing up in the mid-80s and even those in the 70s will tell you that we have cinemas in Nigeria. Several cinemas in Nigeria. You have them in the ones in Surulere called Jebako, Casino Cinema that are not nobody. All those. You have to begin to create our own kind of cinema. The cost of tickets to the cinemas are too expensive. Imagine I'm going to the cinema with a family of 4. We're talking about 8,000 times 4. So we need to look at, I don't blame the cinema owners too. The cost of running these facilities are also very expensive. Look at this place here, you are on gen, you have to pay power and all that. So we need to look at how we can create community cinemas. Take the cinemas away from the very luxurious centers in VI, Ikeja, to Alimosho, out of the, so people do not have to travel from, because for me, cinema is an experience. Okay. Why you go to cinema, it's an experience. One, you're not just going to see a film. You want to go there and, of course, network, talk to people, look around. So we can create those big cinemas that we have in the urban, in those local areas. That's the way, like the China example you get, and even India, the cinemas are not all very exotic. You have some that are just tools. Okay. In this number. So we need to domesticate our cinemas system in Nigeria. And that's the only way. Those numbers of 1.4 or 1.7 billion is pittance.
So if you're saying domesticating our cinemas in, for instance, you mentioned, like, for instance, restaurants,
yes,
some recreation centers and all of that, how do the filmmakers make money?
Oh, you know, the cinema business is just a simple chain. The existing cinema owners know that they can also, like even this environment, why would I live here and go out of this environment? Walking out of this place, you can't walk out of this place. You need a car. So if it's a cinema here, can you take a walk to that cinema? So the cinemas don't have to be as big as those exotic ones. The same system, like she mentioned AI, it's just your app now. You have the phone, you have the numbers, you come there, you buy your tickets. Nothing different. What I'm just saying is that we have created this cineplex and multiplex cinemas. That when you go in there, you look at the cost of putting those. You don't need a massive cinema. A 2-screen cinema in maybe my local neighborhood that has the basics. Where the same popcorn you buy at Silverbest for 4,000 for a popcorn, you still buy that same popcorn on the street. Thank you. So that's the point I'm making. Let's make it. And then you see, I keep using the example of pure water. The first man that had the idea of pure water, you know, when we were growing up, it was called ice water. They put it in the nylon bag, they were all tight. Someone just sat there and said, look. People cannot afford the bottled water from the old Wagoli. Sorry, I'm doing that for those days. Then I said, okay, let me put this in sachet. And then it became a master hit. So that's what I'm saying. We need to, we need to bring down the cost of tickets. Why? And you see, we have only 2 seasons, 2 windows for film in Nigeria. December and Easter, maybe Ilea. Why can't people see films from January till December? Look at the rush in this December now. You had 4 major films to the point that they even started having issues.
Yes.
The marketing themselves.
Marketing, yes.
It's because there's only one window. We need to change this whole arrangement. I say, we need to create that structure where it's competitive, yes. Film is conservative business, agreed. But even at that, there's a need for us as filmmakers to also sit down and say, look, how can everybody benefit? Maybe not equally, but it will be beneficial.
But do filmmakers sit down together to have these discussions regularly so that these things you are saying can be implemented all year round?
Let me tell you, some of the most creative and brilliant minds are in the film industry. You have doctors there who studied medicine. You have engineers there. Just like music. You have very brilliant people in that. I think we are creative people. Okay. Like those in the media too. There's always interest and contending interest and all that. But I think the way we are now, we've come to realize that the foreign streaming platforms are not sustainable. Yeah. When a businessman comes to your environment and finds it's not making money, it takes a leave. So now we've realized that, and that's why people are now beginning to bring out ideas. And I think in this year, you will see some new innovative ideas. I cannot even begin to reveal all of them, but I know that the community cinema issue is coming up. The government, thank God, the Black Tinubu government has said that there will be a waiver of 5 years for anybody that wants to start a community cinema. So these things will happen this year, I think so. We'll start this year.
Okay. All right, veteran. That could be a veteran filmmaker.
No, so.
Yes,
I'm just a filmmaker, please. No, please. Forget 1993.
Filmmaker Fidelis Juka, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me here. I think I'm privileged to be